Good morning, everybody. It's Laura. Hold on just a second. Okay, I wasn't quite situated. I'm sorry, guys. Today is, what is today? Tuesday. We're going to make I'm not with it. Memory wire bracelet. We're going to use the memory wire from Curated Bead Box. And it's going to be several strands. So let me find the end of it. There's the end. So I'm going to count the loops. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make it 5. And I'm going to give it a good length to make my ends with, because I'm going to, cannot believe I just did that. I hope I'm doing this right. I did not. I did it wrong. Okay, so it's going to end up being 4 wraps. I don't know where my head is. It's the heat. We'll just say it's the heat and have it over with. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have some left over. We're going to start with this end because it's visible. And it's going to be one of those days. And I'm just going to take at the very end, and we're going to make a loop. I'm using my heavy duty cutters. You do not want to use your good cutters. And I'm going to not just go once. I'm going to come inside, and I'm going to bring that loop around, and I'm going to keep looping. I'm going to get a hold of that end when it gets up there. And I'm going to curl that. So that I have it like that. Now I will take my file and I will make sure that that's not pokey. It's not right now, but if it was, I would file that down. So this makes it so that nothing's going to come off. This is not going to like catch and unpull like I've seen some do. And we are just going to use a lot of just plain Jane 12-0 glass seed beads, because I have a ton of these. These were like way back when I first started from Hobby Lobby. So we're going to spill out a bunch. We're going to need a lot. And we are going to use beads from my stash. I still need to cut that off if I use him. I just have an array of different beads from my stash. Some I may not use, like the leaf, because he really doesn't go. I may not use these green ones. I may not use pink, but this is mainly going to be black. So like the title says, I kind of needed to and we're just going to load on a bunch. So Saturday, I was supposed to be set up at an event. the way it read, or the way I thought it was, is that it was going to be in a park. And the park has streets in it. So, when it said, everything else like the music and the food trucks were all in the park, I figured that's where we were set up. I waited till 20 after 9. There was absolutely nobody there. It was already like 90 degrees. I wasn't feeling good to begin with. And I'm just loading on like a bunch. Because this is mostly going to be black. The only problem with this is keeping it while you're doing it from tangling. Once you get going, it's not so bad. So I'm on quite a few medications. Blood thinners, heart medications, you name it. This is going to prove to be hilarious, guys. We'll get through it. But, being in the park, I was like, my canopy, anchored, yada, yada, yada. We'll be fine. I always set up every summer. I've never had an issue. I had to go fill out the form. When I finally found out and drove around town and found out we're setting up right on the main street, which is actually a main highway through the area, and speed limit is 35. And we're setting up in the parking spots on the street. And all the main food trucks were all going to be in the park, which made no sense. Okay, it's put on by the city, so I was trying to figure out what was going on, and there really wasn't anybody that was wanting to talk because I was not a local. So I was kind of like out of my, how do I want to word it? I don't know how to word it. I was not, one of them. So it kind of was almost like, what are you, who are you and why are you here? Kind of attitude by most people, which I'd never gotten that attitude because I've set up there before. But, that's okay. That's okay. I've always, just kind of smiled and went on my way and just kind of, talk to people and just be friendly. And I've never had an issue. So trying to find out where I was set up, they had moved me, and because one lady didn't want to be where she was supposed to be, and you know how it goes. So I think I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to put on, let's put on one of these white beads. So which, you know, whatever, okay. Trying to set up at this point, it was getting hotter and hotter. The wind was wicked. I had to anchor my canopy before we could even stand it up. Trying to put things up, nothing was staying. Things were blowing over. The jewelry, even if I tried to lay it, was blowing off the table. The wind was that bad to begin with. And I was like, well, surely they're going to close off the street, because any place that I've ever been to that has street events, they close that section of street off, even if it's a main drag. They close off that 1 or 2 blocks or whatever they're using for, you know, people's safety, because you're set up on the street, you don't want traffic. Trying to set up with traffic zipping by at 35 miles an hour, not slowing down, nothing, was difficult. And then in the heat, with things falling down, I knew I could not put anything really out. I had like a third of my stuff out. Now my big, and if you watched my haul from the yard sale, you've seen how big my and heavy those things are that I have some of my jewelry on. They were wrought iron. They were originally, what were they called, guys? Magazine racks. I was like, surely they'll stand. So I had like, I think like 16 or 18 necklaces on each of those. I had the earrings kind of hanging between them, some of the earrings, not many. My earring rack would not, the earrings wouldn't stay on it. Okay, the wind kept blowing it off. So there was no way to put the new earrings up. None of the bracelets would stay because they kept falling off. I'm just going to put a few more on and then put another bead on. So I literally, Alan was helping me chase down stuff. We got some stuff out, and I said, look, I've got to find a bathroom. I'm not feeling good. I've got to go to the bathroom. I asked the people next to me, and they said, oh, you have to go to Casey's. 3 blocks. I'm at one end of the block, literally set up at the end of the block. I had to walk 3 complete blocks to a Casey's to use a toilet. You don't want that. Okay. I walked all the way down there. I'm already overheated. I'm not feeling good. And I felt like very lightheaded. And I ended up getting sick. So that was never a good sign. You know, this is by, I believe, 10:30, if even that. I'm not sure if I want to put the pink ones on. Let's go with, let's do one of these. Get down there. Come on, back up out of there. So I get back down there, and Alan's talking to a lady, and I'm still shaking, and I feel cold. I have goosebumps at this point. A lady bought a bracelet for $5. He turns to me, he's like, I'm having to chase everything. I'm like, when I found out that everything had to be on the street, I'd already told him, this isn't a good idea. I need to cut my loss and just go. And he's like, well, you're here. You may as well try to make your money back. At least set up and try to make some money. It's not going to be that bad. You've got the canopy. So we're still trying to get things out and try to make so that things could be up, because none of my good stuff is out. None of my watches. I had 3 watches done. None of my expensive good jewelry is out. None of the stuff that's going to draw people is out. It literally looks like a junk show at this point. I don't have any of the vintage items out. Nothing. It literally looks like a crap show. Which is fine if that's what you're taking to sell, but I wasn't. I had spent a lot of money to make my booth look nice, and I was very disappointed in how it was looking because that was not my end goal. So this is what we've got so far. Traffic was not slowing down. Nobody was coming to shop. The lady next to us had a ton of baked goods. When I come back down from going to the bathroom, 2 people had already lost their canopies before they could even get their booth set up. One was tearing back down. They hadn't really done anything. Their canopy was okay, but they said it wasn't worth it. They were just going to go see if they could get their money back because they couldn't set up. The other lady, her canopy was completely destroyed. She was trying to get it picked up. The side of her car, because you park next to your canopy, had a big gouge in it where the leg of the canopy came up and just gouged the side of her car. So she was angry and she was trying to, bend the legs of the canopy and parts of the canopy. It was not good. And a lot of people thought it was in the park. I wasn't the only one. People were saying they thought it was in the park and, they didn't understand why it wasn't either. So I don't want them to line up. So I'm going to put a few more on. I know depending on each person's wrist where everything's going to line up. So the lady with the food really was the baked goods really wasn't selling, only a few things. And I think that was to people she knew. And let's see, what else do I want to put? How about we put... maybe this one. But about 12:15, and we were chasing stuff. Stuff was in the street. We did have some people come by that went through stuff. One lady did come back, and but that was after the disaster. About 12:15, a semi-truck traveling 35. Nobody was slowing down, guys. A semi-truck went through, because it's harvest time. He was doing 35. That's a speed limit. Nobody's going to slow down, because there really wasn't any signs saying, that anything's going on the street. So, people are coming through, and there we are. Nobody wants to be on a street with their children, with their families, walking in traffic, first of all. I'm getting sick. I'm sitting there freezing to death. I have goosebumps, okay? And it's now 98 degrees. I kid you not. I looked at my phone at 12 o'clock. It was 98 degrees. And about 12:15, here comes a semi. And the back wind, or whatever you want to call it, from that semi knocked over those two big wrought iron stands that, they're like a teepee. And in that split second, I lost like $100 worth of jewelry that got smashed on the pavement. I was beside myself. I was angry. Alan was not happy. A lady came over to try to help pick up. And I told her, no, that's fine. I've got this. A guy came over and he says, I would ask for your money back, because I thought this was supposed to be set up at the park. And I think he actually was one of the other vendors. Alan's like, well, now you're going to have to stay here and try to make this up. And I looked at him and says, I cannot make up $100 worth of product on top of my setup fee. And then he's trying to help me straighten stuff up. And he's like trying to straighten up the earrings. Lady came over and bought some stuff. Two ladies did. So at this point, I've made my setup fee back. And he's looking at earrings, and he says, well, this pair is missing parts. And I looked down and says, well, they're here somewhere. So I really don't know how much of a loss I took, but I think on the fourth pair of earrings, Alan looked at me and he said, it's your call. When he handed me another part of an earring, we don't even know which earring it went to. And I said, just throw it in a bag somewhere. I'll figure it out later. I still haven't looked. I don't know. I'm still not feeling well. I think it took us maybe, because I didn't pick up, guys. I really didn't. I just threw everything in bags. I did not take care of my stuff the way I should have. I still haven't. And I'm kind of not happy with myself for doing it that way. Last thing I put on was that, so let's go with, let's put this on. But I have been having, and I know some of you know, and some of you don't, I have gastroparesis, and I have been having a lot of additional health issues. And since this weekend is gotten extremely a lot worse. I do know Alan also got very sick this weekend from the heat. So he understands now how hard it is to set up in the heat, and you know how much of a toll it takes on you to do this, and why I don't like setting up in the heat. So I really would like to have a yard sale this weekend and put my jewelry out, but it's supposed to be in the upper 90s again with no break from this heat, and I just don't have it in me. My laptop quit. I went to look for a new tablet, because at least with a tablet I can add what do you call it, guys? Apps I need, where with a laptop you cannot. The Hewlett Packard I had, they said you had to have extensions. Even with once I download the extensions, I could not get the apps that I needed. They wouldn't download. So I'm still without, and my whole goal this weekend was to be able to get all that done. And I've probably been way off the camera, guys. If I have, I'm sorry. So that's where I'm at. My health is just not where it should be, and I know it's not. And there isn't anything that can be done. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I hope you get better. Guys, this disease does not get better, okay? Yes, there are some surgeries that can be done to help, but that's not the only issue that I have at the moment. And it depends on exactly what all is going on with you, if you're eligible for different surgeries, and that kind of thing. So, and depends on what kind of insurance you've got. We all know how that goes. So, I think I'll go just a few more. So I have pretty much been liquid, and so I've been trying to figure out how to sell my jewelry. I know I'm not the best, and I don't expect to get a lot of money for it. Living this far out of town, there's no way to get I think I want, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and use probably this pretty colored chip next. I know when I started this out, I counted out 5 rings, but when you start beading on, it looks like a lot more, but when you stretch this on your wrist, it won't look like that much. It's funny how memory wire works. Anyways, I probably won't do it today. Probably over the next couple days, you'll see. Please go to my Facebook if you're interested in anything I've made. I am go to my Facebook group, Rustic Dragonfly Designs. Request to join. I would appreciate if you did answer the questions, but it's not necessary. So, I mean, my furniture and everything, I kind of wanted to get that all sold instead of it being in a storage out here. And I've got so much stuff that I really don't need. But, you know, it is what it is. But I'm going to start posting, like, I guess make a group post, like post so many photos in one thing, and I will keep shipping as inexpensive as possible. PayPal and Cash App, of course. And I'm going to go that way. There are things that I make that I keep for myself. And there are some things that I've sold, so I do need to update what I've got available. And of course, I have to get rid of the things that have broken. A couple things, just the chain, I think is all that broke. And I can replace the chains, not a problem. But one of the things that broke was my owl magnifying glass. That was very upsetting. Even if I glue the magnifying glass back in, I cannot sell that. So I may just keep it for myself and I glue it back together. So this is where we're at. See, when you put this on, so we're just past that one. I'm going to put a couple more beads on. And then I'm going to put one more of these on. And then I think I'll put on some more black and call it good. So as far as setting up, I think that with my help, unless it's an indoor event, I'm going to back out. The one that was supposed to be at the women's conference, I found out there was only 5 people setting up. And I realized after talking to one of the other ladies that goes, she sets up because she also goes to the conference, and there was only going to be 10 women at the conference, counting herself. So I opted out to going because I would have had to go up, set up the night before, and then go back up the next day. And they're just, to me, that was like close to $25 in gas. It just was not. You have to stop and figure out, is it worth your time and your gas if there's not going to be that many people there? It's like living 12 miles out of town and trying to set up out in the country in the heat. Will I have enough people here to struggle to set everything out? I don't think so. Not when I don't know if I'm going to have Alan's help with the furniture. Because he's constantly busy taking care of his dad. And I can't lift it out of the truck, so I'm going to bead a little more and then make my loop. Let's see where this comes on my wrist. Oh my goodness, it's like sticking to me. I'm sweaty, guys. Don't have the air conditioner in here because, you know, I don't think he needs to be hauling my air conditioner out when it's this hot out. And he's been working. I think that'll work. I got better at a few more just in case. Just in case. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I feel more comfortable with that. All right, so I'm going to give myself plenty of room to roll back a big couple of loops. I'm getting my big clippers. Normally I would only roll back that much. I'm rolling 2 loops, so getting hold of this. And if I have to, I can cut some of this off because I do have more than 2 loops, but I may not. Let me get my other pliers and we will flatten this out. Oh, that looks absolutely horrible. And give it kind of a squish sideways. Those beads aren't going anywhere. So there we have done the bracelet. Oops, I'm way up out of the way. Sorry, guys. And let's go ahead and try this on. And I do want to put a dangle on it. So even on my big wrist, it comes to a good, comfortable position. And the beads keep it from coming like real close to your wrist is what I was going for. And then you can, of course, I'm sweaty, so it's not sliding. But normally it would slide. But when you're this hot, nothing's going to slide. But you can adjust it. Ooh, I love that bead being at the top. You know, to wherever you want it. That looks really, really nice. Let's go ahead and put a dangle on one end. I think I kind of, I don't know. I kind of want to keep that. Let's go ahead and put, if I do that, I want to keep that leaf with it. You know what? Let's get this leaf off here. Oh, he's that kind of a dangle. So let's keep him on his, because I've already Bracelet wrapped him. And I did not cut the actual link he's on, so. And that's okay if we mix metals. Now I'm going to get a jump ring. Do I have one right here in this dish? I have a great big one. You would think with all my little dishes of odds and ends, I would have a jump ring laying here. Oh, I just dropped that big bead. Here we go. So when I do this, I want to make sure it goes through all 3 rings. And I want this in my flat pliers. So we're going to open this up. Because if you don't go through all 3 rings, it's only going to come off. I'm going to put him on. Go through all 3 of those rings right there. Because there's 3 kind of sort of on that side. We're going to close this up. And there it is. A multi-strand very pretty. I like it. I really do. Kind of want to turn it around so you can see all the beads. There you go. I really like how that turned out. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And yeah, like I said, I will let you know when I have everything uploaded. It's going to take me a couple days. Maybe this weekend we'll have a sale. I'll be like, yeah, just go to my Facebook page and watch for that. And I'll talk to all of you guys down in the comments below. Bye, everybody.